What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Run It Up to DMOON Week.
Howdy.
Continues today. We are playing some 25-cent, 50-cent, no-limit Texas Hold'em on UltimatePoker.com. And here we are with a gut shot overcard, backdoor flush draw, two overcards, backdoor flush draw. We're going to be peeling here. This is a blind versus blind hand. This player limped and we raised. He called. And then he just bet out on the flop here.
I want to just keep listening to you talk at that pace.
I could try. I don't know how many people would like to listen to that, but it could happen.
That's a lot of words.
It's a lot of words. So I don't think we've actually seen this guy before. This is about like an orbit after we ended the last episode yesterday. So we could call here twice. We actually are ahead of some hands. We're ahead of some diamond draws, queen 10, queen 8, stuff like that. But I think when he bets pot just about on turn, I think folding is okay. Queen or king is not super likely, I guess, to be like, they're not like entirely clean out. So you very easily could have queen jack or king jack or whatever. So I think we'll take the tighter route and just say, no thank you. Right? Can't win them all.
Sure.
I
would jam on his ass.
Sure. I'm all in.
What's up now?
Yo, fuck you. I'm all in.
Bitch.
That's right. That's right. It's supposed to be a family show. Do you think your son is a big fan of Run It Up?
If I let him watch this, I bet he actually would be.
Yeah, but I curse too much for the kids.
I know, and that's the problem. I have a potty mouth. I don't around him, but
yeah.
I actually had to make a deal with the Me Versus You production people.
Yep.
I was like, listen, my son is obsessed with this show. He wants to watch it. I've heard other people who are like, my kids love watching it, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. I was like, if you want me to truly be in the moment and show my excitement, you have to beep out the F-bombs.
Yeah, of course.
Because the first couple, they were leaving them, and I'm like, that isn't okay.
Right.
And my dad was all like,
this is a family program.
Yeah, my dad was like, you should.
We'll never get on the ABC Family if we keep letting cursing go through like this.
He's like, that's very unbecoming, Danielle.
That's very unbecoming.
Yes.
It's funny. I did a bunch of videos with Antonio last year when I started doing the Run It Up stuff, and he told me like it was great. He loved it. It was awesome. He was like, kid, you gotta stop swearing. And I was like, what the fuck does it matter if I do what I want? Look at Joe Rogan. Joe Rogan curses all the time. There are plenty of people that just are who they are. I don't want to censor myself for no reason.
Why did he want you to?
Well, because Antonio's point of view is that to be as mainstream as possible, it helps you to be as relatively vanilla as possible. But I take the other route and say I'd much, much prefer to have people watch that know and like exactly the way that I actually am. And if you want me not to curse, there are plenty of people who don't curse and make boring poker videos.
We'll take the quality viewers over the quantity
That's
viewers.
Exactly
and you know
right.
what?
Exactly
if you're too snotty, you're going to get pissed when we drop,
Don't be a nit
some
bitch
bombs every once in a while, then you ain't no friend of mine.
That's all right.
That's just my style. I'm a little feisty, like I am.
That's right. Exactly. Although I do think, there are definitely like times and places. By the way, are we going to flop a freaking pair here today?
Apparently
in other news? I feel like we've been pair hunting and have not been successful. I guess if they're going to check to me...
And everybody keeps folding to your monsters.
Yeah.
You're like, oh, min raise with kings. Yeah. Oh, everybody snap, fold.
Yeah.
Like, oh.
Raise slightly not the best hand. Full
Hate you all.
Yeah.
Oh, I have nothing, and now you call. Oh, standard.
Okay. So we actually might have the best hand. We beat 4-5 clubs, things like that. I don't think I'm going to bet here twice. I mean, we could, but I'm not necessarily sure how much he folds. Even if he has like 5s or 4s, those might not fold right now. I guess we just take the free equity and just check back, try to get there. We actually still win sometimes. He has 4-5 or 4-6 on a beautiful, lucky Sunday. No, I don't think ace-4 is going to call on the turn, or probably the river as well. We could have got that hand specifically to fold, but I don't hate our bet on the flop. That hand might fold sometimes. We win on turn cards as well sometimes. Actually, if the turn card was not like such a brick banana, if the turn card was like a 7 of clubs, maybe we could have won that pot. But I think the queen of spades is not necessarily the best card to barrel on. How do you feel about that?
I personally feel like I probably would have bet, but
yeah,
it's easy to say in hindsight.
Sure, of course, it's easy to say when we see it as ace-4. But I feel like let's see. After the World Series was over, so about a month ago, I had a friend living here with me who played a ton online, and I got to watch him a bunch as he was playing. And there were a lot of spots that he bluffed in that I was like, I would never put a chip in the pot. And it was really interesting to kind of see those similar spots like that, actually, where I was like, you actually bluff there and think it's successful? And they're like, yeah. And I was like, maybe I'm missing something in my game there. I also feel like maybe there's some reality that is true where me playing as Jay Carver makes it less of a good spot to bluff because they know that I know. But I'm not sure about any of that. So
Yeah, I could see that.
things to think about.
But yeah, I think if you're not like, I don't know, if you're not 3-barreling, just bombing sometimes, you know?
Yeah,
I
of
think,
course
like,
you should be.
But
You know what somebody said to me once that I thought was very, very insightful is that if your bluffs are not getting called sometimes, you're not bluffing
you're not
enough.
doing it enough.
Yeah, you're not bluffing enough. And I feel like that's true on almost like every level. If your value bets aren't getting called by hands better sometimes, like it's true all the time. It's true with everything in poker that to have like a healthy poker life, you should have some lack of success on some spectrums. I'm gonna try this fancy little 120 raise that I've been practicing. We'll see how this works here. Another one of the advantages of pre-recording these episodes is that nobody has heard me talk about why I like doing this just yet. We'll see if it works out continuing. Maui Life behind also decides to cold call. Not like the worst flop ever. 3 flush, 3 straight, and middle pair. I think we'll start out with a bet because I feel like we would love to get the pot heads up. Looks like we've accomplished that at least. I feel like checking here is just not correct. We're letting them have free cards, not protecting our hand at all. You know, makes sense to you, DMOON?
Yep.
I think we're on the same page there.
I'm with you.
And again, the $1.20 little trick or treat over there just got it done. I haven't named it yet. I haven't have a nice name for it yet. The little tiny sneaky raise there.
That's a pretty little board for your hand.
Yes, I feel like at this point, given that we have $5 in the pot and $30 in our stack, there are not too many things that can happen here that will make me not put my money in the middle. But we'll see. Start by betting $3. Let's see if Maui Life wants to continue here. Nope. Over to the alien in the small blind. I actually feel like the alien is probably relatively strong here. I could have a hand like 8s or 9s, 7s, something like that, because he called out of the small blind, not the big blind. So his hand's probably pretty decent once he calls on the flop here. Like I don't think he even has like king queen or king jack. Like I feel like he's got to be pretty pair heavy here.
Like a 6-7.
I bet 6 because if he calls, there'll be 22 in the pot. We'll have under that on the river. There's really no river that's going to come that I'm not going to want to shove on, and this definitely counts. He could have like pocket 4s and just be like, you know, tricky, trap, you know.
He earned it.
Johnny
if
Chan
he does.
style. Yeah, he's earned $20. And honestly, he could have raised flop. We got it on a flop anyway, so it didn't really matter what he did too much. I'm all in. Maybe he has pocket 9s and we'll call. I'll take it.
Are you ever going smaller there and trying to get a
Sure.
call from like?
Sure, I could bet 12 or something like that. You know,
Yeah.
I think that actually might be one of the things that I could like work on because theoretically we bet on turn to set it up to shove the river, which is kind of like a tournament play to like make sure you can max reasonably shove river in those situations. But maybe it's actually better in that spot to bet 12 or something, so you give him more inclination to call, especially if we think he has like 8s or 7s.
Yeah, that's what I mean. I just kind of think like if you're the range that you're putting him on is one that probably can't call the jam on the river, but could possibly call like like a half pot bet or something like a.
Yeah, you could be
feeler.
Definitely. Yeah, for sure. You definitely could be right about that. I 100% agree with that, and I think. Maybe we did leave a little bit of money on the table there. It's another one of those spots that I guess, if you asked like, I think some of the higher end tournament and I think cash guys also, I think shoving is fine because you're playing players that understand dynamics and things. But I think developing strategies that are specifically tailored to opponents, like in that case, something that I think I'm actually decent at, I think might actually call for that to be like a smaller bet maybe. But whatever. We'll just say he had 6-7.
We won.
That's right.
Game.
We gotta just win another $100, and that's fine.
I've done it before.
It's not about the money.
Done it before.
That's right. You've won over $100 in an hour before. Unreal.
It's craziness, isn't it?
Unreal. Not possible.
I'm not even gonna tell you how much I lost last night.
Oh no. I don't think I've had a winning cash game session live this year. Not that I've played more than like 3, but yeah.
It can be brutal sometimes.
I got it in with ace king against kings heads up at a what were we playing? We were playing 50. We were playing 25-50. We were playing 25-50. Yeah, we were playing 25-50, and I had like 15k, and he had like 15k, like 14,900, and we got it in pre-flop for the whole thing with ace king against kings, and flop was like ace king x. That was it. So it would have got it in anyway post flop, but
Yeah.
that was the biggest pot I played live. So hard to come back from that. I probably should have played it differently, but it's hard. Heads up. How do you know? How fun is that though? Have you ever played live heads up cash?
I actually haven't.
It's a lot of fun. So you gotta play at Bellagio long enough, and eventually the games will die about the time that you would probably leave.
Yeah.
So for me, I hate quitting. Obviously, if I'm at Bellagio at that point, I might as well just play. And people play. I don't know if they know who I am or not, but every time I've been at Bellagio and the game has got shorthanded, someone has always stayed with me to play. So I've got to play heads up at Bellagio.
Like, what time are you talking usually?
I played a guy at heads up at Bellagio this year from like 5 or 6 in the morning. Probably even before that. Probably like 4 to 5 in the morning till about 8:30 till somebody else showed up. Yeah, a couple of drunk guys wandered over. One of them sat and played literally like an orbit and was like, which just means 3 hands, and then quit. I mean, but yeah, we just played for a while, and I actually ended up back to even after losing that huge hand to that guy, and I quit, stuck like 5K or something from that.
When I was playing at the Commerce, I sometimes would intentionally go to bed like really early, and then saunter down at 5 a.m. and everybody's tired and the game's shorthanded and people are stuck. And I actually think Phil Goffin talked about how he completely readjusted his sleep schedule so that he could be online at the time when like everybody else had, grinded heads up. Somebody was stuck in tilted and wanted to chase, and he'd like completely rearrange his like sleep schedule so that he was waking up, at like
to maximize that.
Yeah, he was waking up at like 2 a.m. or something like that.
In my glory days of online poker, I used to be intentionally set to the European schedule because I used to play on Boss, the Boss network, which was very European heavy. So I would literally be staying up all night, play all day. I mean, it would be one of those like completely inverted sleep schedules. But I wanted to be on the same schedule as the Euros because I felt like it was just the optimal way to be.
Burning equity to not be.
That's right. Hasn't quite got as good here in Nevada, unfortunately, to be on like the Nevada sleep schedule.
Yeah.
Yeah. Not quite yet. I've mentioned I run it up before so many times. I'll be playing like a 50 cent a dollar game and be like, I've played easier 150, 300 games than this 50 cent dollar game right now. It's kind of unreal. Pretty good flop for us in the big blind with the king and the 10. Under the gun did raise. We are 5-handed here. With a short stack in the middle, I guess we could have considered leading, and then maybe that would have created a situation we could get it in easier against him. If it goes bet shove, I think I actually would seriously consider just folding this when the under the gun player bets and then this player decides to raise, if that was to happen. In this instance, I think there's nothing that can happen that will make me either not raise or call. I feel like I don't mind raising this hand. He only has 30 big blinds, so it really can't be too bad. There are so many turn cards, as far as like queens, jacks, aces. Even the king might slow him down if he just has, a worse 10 or even like a ace 9 kind of hand right now, queen jack, jack 8. He'll just say I'm all in. And if he folds, it can't be too bad for us anyway.
And if you just call, Spelly Belly might call as well with like 2 overs and
which is correct.
Yeah.
And as we
and
always,
then you're kind of
we hate when people make correct decisions against us. It's really annoying. It's very annoying.
Stop.
That's right. Although I do encourage people to make correct decisions through the running up existing. So I guess
running up Legion only.
Running up Legion. That's right.
You guys are the only ones allowed to play correctly.
That's right. Legion only.
No, and not against us.
Yeah, that's right. I did get a chance a couple times this summer to play with guys who were running up fans during World Series events, and there was one table particularly that we had so much fun on. There was probably like 3 or 4 people who were like familiar with Run It Up, and 1 or 2 people who were like had seen most of the episodes, and I was in a good mood. It was like day 2 of the one drop over the summer, and everyone was just talking, laughing, nicknaming, joking around, showing cards. It was like one of those like pinnacle poker experiences for tournaments. It's very rare. But
actually like live poker, like kind of fun
it
thing.
Was great. Everyone was laughing, talking, making jokes. I mean, it was great. I mean, really, it's amazing. Creating that dynamic and being able to literally create that out of a table that otherwise would be quiet, boring, focused on the game, being able to make it fun and awesome not only is better for everybody, better for recreational players, better for the pros, just more fun, but it's actually better from like a straight up dollar point of view when people are like talking and joking and laughing and not paying attention to what their optimal plan will be in different scenarios.
So that's your plan. You're like, oh, I'm gonna pretend that I'm really sociable and I'm gonna pretend that I actually really like you guys, but I'm actually just trying to distract you so I can take your chips.
Yes.
You're so heartless. You're such an asshole.
I have no heart, really. It's very true. I was like,
Stone.
Yeah, stone robot. Just
he's like all about. He's like, oh. That's actually what this whole thing is. He's trying to get like every poker player in the world to be like a
let's have more fun.
Run up Legion, yeah, and we're gonna have
secretly
fun. And he's like as serious as can be, like
serious Samuel over
you're like
here.
the guy who's like drinking the water shots while ordering everybody else like the
that would
like,
be me.
let's take some shots.
That would,
let's get messed up, guys. This will be fun. Everyone else is hammered.
How upset would you be if we were at a bar somewhere and we were all doing shots and you took a shot of what I was drinking and it was turned out to be just water?
I'd be really disappointed. That's like a line you just don't like. That's
right. That
totally
would way
unethical.
Deteriorate our friendship.
Yeah, that's
for sure.
just not cool at all.
All right, I feel you.
That's like I don't know. That's like the poker equivalent to using like software where you can see my cards or something, and then being like, hey, let's play heads up.
Sneaking
that's
a card
not cool.
in the deck or something.
It's not cool at all.
Yeah, that's not cool at all.
Although I have like on numerous occasions pulled the like. I know I don't need another drink, but somebody's insistent. So I'm like, oh, okay. And then I'm like throwing it over the shoulder, like, if you can get that by me, then that's like, okay, you've earned it,
You've earned, but
you can't like encourage me while you're taking water.
I really wish, maybe wish might be too strong of a thing, but I would love to have seen who I would be as a person if we had been friends when I was like 15 years old, because I would have been an entirely different human being. I'm going to call here. I could also raise. I think that's also okay, but I think calling is probably just better. This guy could have aces, kings, or queens. It's definitely possible, and I don't think he has ace-king very often, making it 350, but I also think that our hand is too good just to say nothing, just fold. Now, I think it's possible that we could bet and win this pot off this guy, but him, swelly belly over there, worries me. So I think we'll start with a check for now, see what happens. If it goes check, 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 maybe we can win this hand. 7 of clubs is interesting. Let's put out a bet, see what happens here. 5. We actually have the best hand here sometimes. I guess we could check here as well, but I like betting in this spot. Nobody's done anything yet so far. We could have the best hand right now. He could call with hands like king, queen with the king of clubs very easily. And if this guy continues, I think the bluffing games are over. If he calls, I'm probably just checking back on most rivers. Maybe I would have bluffed on like a offsuit club, but or rather just a club. But I think at this point we just check back. I feel like he has like queens, maybe jacks, kings, something like that. Ace king. I'm surprised he made it so small pre. I guess bluffing on clubs would not have been great. But I guess betting again in turn has to be okay, because even if he has ace king, he still folds ace king there a bunch.
Do you think because your bet do you think that making your bet size a little bigger there?
I don't think it makes a difference in this particular case, because
obviously not in this case. He's going to call with ace king there, but just like in like a general.
Let's say so it goes 150. He makes it 350 out of the small blind. So let's talk about like the hands he would show up with there. So in my opinion, when he makes a small re-raise in that spot, like it's not often going to be like ace 4 or offsuit. You know what I mean? Like in my opinion, not knowing the guy at all, he's probably got something decent. And ace queen doesn't actually do great against the set of decent hands. If he has ace queen, ace king, maybe ace jack suited on a super happy day, and then aces, kings, queens, tens, jacks, and what else really? Would you think he has king queen? Maybe. So if that's the case, if you bet 5, or rather the difference between betting 5 and 6 doesn't get most of those hands to fold. Like if he has 10s or better, those aren't folding for 3 or 4 or 7 or 10. You know what I mean? So you're only getting like the king queens, the ace queen, the ace kings, and king queen we're actually beating. So we actually want that not to fold anyway.
I guess my question is maybe more if you're gonna make it that size, like a little bit on the like smaller size.
Yeah.
Then I feel like you should be continuing on the river, because I feel like you're making it like he's gonna stay in with all of his club draws. And like,
but if he has a club draw,
like the ace king,
specifically ace king is the only hand that has a club draw that we lose to, right? So we could bluff the river if we thought he had ace king, but I actually thought he didn't have ace king because of his re-raise size pre-flop. I wasn't, we haven't seen him shut down any hands, so it's tough to really say for sure we should do with ace queen there. Right. Because if it's a simplified scenario and he has 10s plus and ace king, then the strategy on turn should be to bet like 250.
See, but like I don't know. To me, I'm like eliminating like. Based on how he played the hands, how it went like check, check, and even on like the turn,
he checked again.
Yeah. Like I feel like that probably eliminates like 10s, jacks, queens, kings. Like I feel like all those are out of his range.
Possibly.
So I feel like it becomes so much more likely that he does have like ace king there.
Possibly, but to me, the reason why I find it hard to rule out that he can have all those big hands is because he made it 350 pre-flop, which is not a traditional re-raise size out of the small blind. So no matter what he decided to do that with pre-flop, it was something that was unorthodox to some degree. It was bizarre to some degree. So he could have a bigger hand and then have played it weirdly post-flop, I feel like, because his pre-flop play is a little bit weird as well. Yeah. So to me, that's why I was a little bit hesitant to say for sure, and why I just picked like 5 is just kind of like well, maybe he somehow does have us somehow beat sometimes, yes, with like a small pocket pair or something. Hopefully we win this hand and I didn't just let him get there with a heart. Nope. Whew. I was worried.
6 what?
Yeah. See, when you play dmoongirl, we sometimes have big wins or big losses. When I play, we lose $8.
Yeah, we're just kind of coasting along.
We're just hanging out. I'm just perched like a velociraptor.
Well, okay, but I was like, when I was playing, I was telling like the most tilty story of
That's true.
Entire
if I had to tell my
world.
most tilted story, I'm sure it would be.
Do you
want to
hear actually another tilty story?
I would love to hear another tilted story.
Man, I don't even know if I should tell this one.
Well, you should have thought of that before you brought it up.
The characters in this story are going to have their name changed.
Okay.
The main character, okay?
Very fair.
Okay, so
let's call the main character Dan.
Dan. Okay, we'll call the main character Dan.
Okay.
If I forget, I'm gonna be mad at myself.
Okay.
Okay. So
we should change the character names to real people like Antonio. So that way we're just basically making the whole story fraudulent. It's safe, but Yeah.
It's fine.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm
so
with you.
We're gonna say this person's name is Dan.
Dan.
This person is a very successful high stakes poker player.
Okay, so it's definitely not Dan O'Brien.
Definitely not Dan O'Brien. We can eliminate him from that equation.
Okay. I'm with you.
Individual who has more money than like I would even know what to do with, has no grasp on, that much money.
Okay. I'm with you.
Okay. Person that plays at Bellagio frequently in Doyle's room. Okay.
Bobby's room.
Bobby's room. Whatever.
It's not Doyle's room yet.
Okay.
Anyway.
Yeah.
I'm with you.
Anyways. Okay. So I went to go
That's
play.
That's why you make it 120, by the way.
Easy game.
That's it.
I went to go play live a couple weeks ago. It was like after the series, and this Dan was back there playing.
Okay.
And Dan does not generally live in Vegas, and Dan generally doesn't like Vegas very much. So I went back, talked to him. I'm like, hey, buddy. I was like, how's it going? Blah, blah. I was like, what are you still doing here? And he's like, oh, the game's been really good. So I just stayed. I'm actually going home tomorrow. And I'm like, oh, okay, cool. And he goes, so you just moved here, right? And he's he's asking me about the move. And I'm like, yeah. And he's like, how did it go? And then he says, did you guys drive your vehicles from Minnesota? And I was like, well, yeah, we did. I was like, we drove both of them. And then he goes, oh, and he goes, I guess that means you're out then. And I'm like, out for what? What do you mean? He goes, well, and he goes, well, I'm trying to find somewhere to like keep my car until next summer when I come back. And then he goes, would you guys have any need for a car?
Oh,
and
no. You
actually,
had the car for free.
Ironically, and it was truthful. I had literally just gone car shopping that day because we needed a new car. Wow. So I was like, well, I just went car shopping today. We're looking for a car. I was like, but what do you mean? Like, just keep it in our garage or what? And he's like, no, you can drive it. And he's like, I only need it when I'm here. He goes, I bought one. The last one that I bought was an Audi and I just gave it to a girl and she just let me use it when I was here. He's like, but I'm done with that one. I bought a new one this year.
A new girl, he means, I assume.
a new Audi. And I was like, well, what if I crash it? He goes, I don't give a shit. He goes, you can key it if you want. I don't care.
Wow.
And I'm like,
that seems
so
irresponsible.
I just drive your car all year except for a month. And he's like, yeah. And he's like, it's this great little Audi convertible. I just bought it. He's like, you'll love it. It'll be perfect. And I'm like,
okay, this all sounds great.
Okay. And I'm like, and what do you want for, I don't understand. And he's like, no, just take it.
And you hadn't actually bought your car yet?
No, I hadn't actually bought a new car. He's like, just take it. And I'm like,
okay, this all sounds great to me.
This sounds like way too good to be true, right? And I was just like, well, Dan, I don't even know what to say. This is like craziness. I was like,
yeah, thank you.
Okay.
Obviously, yeah.
But he was saying this as I was like doing him a favor,
Right, yeah. Yeah, do you mind watching my Audi for me for a year?
Yeah, and I was like, okay. And he's like, so listen, the girl who I gave the last one to, he's like, she's actually coming to visit me here in a little bit. He's like, when she gets here, I'll introduce you and I'll just have her tell you what to do with the insurance. He's like, because it has to be in your name. But other than that, he's like, and then if you just want to give me a ride to the airport tomorrow, you can just have the car.
All sounds great to me.
Right?
Okay.
And I'm like, okay. And
these are the perks of being a woman, by the way, because
how
nobody has ever
happen?
offered me a car.
It was the craziest thing. And so, anyways, I go back and I play in my, 5-10 game while he's,
That's right, playing one Audi,
his,
two Audi
like,
over there.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I'm waiting, and I call my husband. I'm like, you are not gonna believe this. And he's like, are you kidding me?
I
And I'm
just
like,
won a car,
no.
Bellagio.
I'm like, dude, I basically just freaking was like, this is unbelievable.
Cool.
I'm so excited. So, anyways, this girl shows up.
It's not Dana from the last story, is it?
No, it's not Dana.
That
But
would
I
be-
like
that would
this.
have been
I like this
hilarious.
girl about as much as Dana.
Okay.
So this girl shows up, and Dan goes, Danielle, come over and meet my friend. And so I go over, and he's like, Danielle, this is blah, and this is blah, whatever. And he's like,
you're not even giving her a name. Her name is Blah.
Yeah, I'm not gonna give her a name because
Okay.
I've since learned that some people in the poker world might actually know her.
Okay.
So anyways,
So we'll call her Blah.
yeah, she's blah.
Okay.
So I'm like, oh, hi, and Dan is like,
That is what you say to people
yeah, I was
normally.
like, I'm really
Yeah.
excited. I was like,
That's how
"Hi."
Dan's like, hi. That's how
And-
Danielle talks normally. Yeah.
And so Dan goes, so why don't you tell Danielle what she needs to do to get the insurance, because she's going to take the car.
Okay.
And I knew it the second that he said it because I saw the girl's face. And she goes, oh. She goes, well, actually, the old car hasn't been running very well, and it only starts like 50% of the time. She goes, I put like $3,000 worth of repairs into it this summer, so I was just going to drive the new one.
Oh, brother.
And I'm like, and Dan is like, oh, really?
Oh,
And
no.
she's like,
So,
yeah. She's like, so I was, is it okay if I just drive? And then Dan, and I like, this girl is full of shit. I can tell you instantly that she is full of shit.
Yeah,
She
of
was,
course.
it's an Audi, and it's like a 5-year-old Audi or something.
Right,
You're
it's
telling me
probably
it
totally
doesn't
fine.
start?
Yeah.
So, and I knew right away, and I was like, this little bitch is
Could you have
not getting
taken
away
the
with this.
old one if
Well,
you
no,
wanted?
listen. So,
Yeah.
it was like advanced play. So I
Yeah.
go, oh, and I go, well, what are you going to do with the old one? Because I'm actually in a market for a car right now,
Yeah, right.
And she goes, my friend is an Audi dealer, and he actually said that like there's so many repairs that need to be made that it's
Wow.
not even worth it.
Damn.
And she's like, so,
You got car blocked, I think, is what you got there.
yeah.
That's right. You got hardcore car
Dan
blocked.
is somebody who has probably never had a car that's older than 2 years in his entire life.
Right.
So for all he knows, it's accurate that a 5-year-old Audi
Just
would
falls
just not
apart.
start. Like
It's literally in tatters.
Yeah, it's just like, he's like, oh, we may as well just dump it on a,
Just abandon it in the
do
desert.
they have
might
like,
as well.
like junkyards for these things?
Yeah,
Or what do you do with
right.
them?
What do you do?
So anyway,
Wow.
so he's like, okay. And he's like, well, Danielle, I'm sorry. I guess I didn't realize that she, needed
I didn't
the
realize I was
car.
trying to give you this piece of shit Audi here.
And I was like, okay. And so in like the span of 3 hours, I was basically given and taken away an Audi
Wow.
convertible, a
That's-
brand new one.
Those are some swongs right there.
And then I went back to my game, and I like just, thought about how miserable that was and how sad I was.
Let me guess, you did not win that session.
And then he came over and he was like, hey, and to him, it's like no big deal. Because,
course.
like,
Yeah, you
it's
just-
just like, yeah, it's
yeah,
like
you
giving
just
somebody a
lost an
piece of
Audi.
gum. It's an Audi,
Right.
He's like, hey, I'm really sorry about that. And then he's like, but, she could never afford a car like that on her own. And I'm like, I can't either.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
I drive a Toyota.
Poor her.
It
Yeah.
has like 120,000 miles on it.
Meanwhile, meanwhile, you're playing like 5'10", not
Yeah, and
like
I'm
50,
like,
100
oh
or
my
anything.
God. F my life.
So next time, if I have to ever offer you my apartment or something, I should make sure to actually be able to deliver.
Yeah,
through with
right. If you're gonna
promises.
offer me a
Not
car,
be like, oh, do you need a place to stay? Like a really nice
I was like,
penthouse
well,
or something?
keep
Oh,
me in mind
no,
for
never
the
mind,
next
you can't have
one.
it. Yeah,
Oh.
keep in mind for the next one.
Sad day. But
Sad
how about the
day.
audacity of that girl? You were given
Given a car.
an Audi, and you have the audacity to
Like,
like
ask for a new
ask for
one?
a second one. Like, who does that? Like,
that is pretty strong.
like he didn't give you enough the first
Right.
time. Like,
that is pretty absurd.
and due to circumstances I won't go into here, I don't believe that it was, a sexual favor relationship type thing. Like,
Let's not even go there.
No, I'm not saying for me. I'm saying for her. Clearly for me, it's not.
Obviously, I'm just saying, like who knows, whatever. But life for an Audi.
Yeah, but no, I know that would be like the natural response. We were like, oh, he's probably. But I don't think
I assume
that was happening.
yeah, right. Well, then I don't know what other point this girl would serve, but that's just.
Yeah, she's an old friend who
Mm.
needed help.
Can I? If I give somebody an Audi, you can be damn sure I'm sleeping with them.
Right?
In my life, I'll just spoiler alert to fans and friends, etc.
I called my husband to tell him, he's like, he goes, I don't.
Bink?
It's an interesting card.
Interesting.
He
Excellent
goes,
card.
just to be clear, he goes, you can be kind of naive sometimes. There's no like
Yeah, there's no
alternative
strings
like
attached.
motivations. And I'm like, no, I swear,
Yeah.
like this is
Yeah, you're gonna have to
and this
you know,
person,
really
it's not like
check
it's
my
not
oil
like,
every
yeah,
2
so
months. You know.
Whee!
Boom. Sweet $10 profit. We needed it. This is probably the last orbit for the
We
fans,
need it.
so we really needed
For the fans.
We need to repair some of the damage this
If
week.
we
That's it.
triple up,
If we even double up, we'll be on our way. Well,
yeah,
well
but-
on our way.
I'm greedy.
I just want to end in like the 900s range. We're close to that. We're at like 870 right now. So we have to just win like $30 more in this orbit, and that's it. No big deal. Good start. We can win this pot right here. He just
There you
limps,
go.
calls $2 in the pot, king and the 9 and the low card, and
We
then
got
a
two
jack
cards that
on the
relatively
turn,
go
and then-
together. Easy game.
That's right. This is great.
I'm gonna call it right here. We're gonna get into a big pot.
We're gonna just nail it. 10,
Yep.
10 deuce. Okay. This could be it. I think I like betting $3.50.
I was gonna go 325.
I
We were
don't
close.
like betting 325. I want to get that extra quarter of
We were
value
close.
in there. If he check raises, I would probably just call.
Sad beans.
Yep, that is not the happiest of turn cards. We could actually bet twice here. Once in a while, maybe he'll fold.
I have this ready for when the 10 comes.
I guess actually we can just check back. We have some hands just drawing dead. We can just call rivers.
That is bullshit.
I'm actually planning on probably calling unless he bets like pot. Could be value bet $2. I like that. $2.
That's ambitious.
I have value bet. He's got like ace queen.
I don't like
queen.
it, but I hope that you're right.
That's it.
Nah,
That's
easy
it.
game.
Don't have to show my cards. I knew where I was at that hand. Don't worry. I'm like a
I
submarine.
never doubted you.
Submarine. I got the
Never
sonar.
doubted you.
That's right. This is my sonar, by the way. Do you guys like it? That's right. See, it's fun, right? People don't understand how much fun it is just to have a webcam and then just do things with your hands with it.
It is like when you get closer, it's kind of like
That's right. Don't get too close. You might get caught in there. Sucked
Caught in
into
what?
the vortex.
into the vortex.
You might yeah, I'll have to go outside and tell your son. Unfortunately, your mom's been sucked into the vortex. I'm sorry. Your mom has been sucked
My
into
child
the
is
vortex.
in Jason's
living room.
yeah, he's tied up.
Not literally.
We duct
tied up.
taped him.
Okay, maybe literally.
I was gonna say he's in your closet, but then I was like,
yeah, my closet's been empty for a few
I
years
was
now.
like, I think it's
thankfully.
cleaned out.
Yeah.
But no, he's occupied in the living room playing Minecraft.
That's right.
Yes.
That's right.
Not unsupervised.
We gotta introduce him to fan and friend of mine, fan of the show and friend of mine, Husky Mudkips' videos. YouTube superstar Husky Mudkips, Minecraft machine.
You were telling me that.
I know. He's
end
only
it
got
here
like
on
2
a good
million
note.
subscribers. He has as many subscribers as I have lifetime
I probably
views
would
on my
like
channel.
if he would switch because the videos he currently watches are like Stampy Cat or something.
I don't know
And it's
anything
like,
about that.
he talks like this and he has a British accent. It's really loud and high pitched and annoying.
It's like he
And
talks
I'm
like me. Oh.
F my life.
I'm actually going to start with the check here. Not something I always do or actually even often do, but I'm going to try checking here. He can't really have queen 10, can't really have ace queen. I guess he could have now a jack or a king, which would be less than good news for us. Let's check twice. Going to be calling here if he bets as well. I feel like he likely just has nothing. Maybe he has ace highs though. Ace highs might call us.
Value bet.
I'm going to bet $2.50. Hopefully he'll call us with ace high, pocket sevens, or just say no thank you.
That was a little anticlimactic.
Another orbit for the fans. One more orbit.
For the fans, I'm always
Down.
down.
For the fans. Let's do it. Let's do it. We were only stuck, we were in for, let's see. We were stuck $91 to start the session. So
are you ever, okay, I know we're doing this
$70.
like pre-recorded thing. It's going to be released and all that.
Yeah.
Are you ever going to do stuff where there's like live, like, because I have to be honest, I kind of miss the fan interaction, you know?
Well, to be honest, you're my first person that has really done episodes like this. So it'll be up to the fans to tell us what they thought of these episodes, of what they thought of running up to DMOON week. I haven't ever really done this pre-recorded before. So if everybody wants to see more streams and things like that, I think it's totally cool. We can definitely do more streams and such. I'm down. But
give the people what they want.
I wanted to do 50 YouTube episodes, you know? Sometimes I feel like they're very different, you know? The pre-records and the streams, they're just like...
Yeah, it's definitely got like a different dynamic to it.
For sure. And I just felt like doing YouTube videos instead of doing streams. They're just it's a different type of interaction, a different tone, different pace, a different like
so there's room to
volume
like
level.
mix it up.
All I want to do is mix it up. Are you crazy? I just want to, you know, I I would love to do a session again with you, Antonio, and Dan. Actually, all three of you separately. I would love to do a session where we played heads up. We don't play it for a lot, but we could play.
That'd be great if we could we take over like a whole table.
Well,
Battleship style?
What I would love to do is to set up 2 cameras and have you like there, me here, somehow reconfigure the set in studio somehow, and then have either somehow sweating live, do a pre-record, but somehow make it happen and do. I would love to do that kind of a battle thing. Could raise, but I think calling is he's not going to be calling very often if we raise with like worse, Right. So I felt like just calling was fine. Well, we've managed to keep making a profit.
Hey.
I'm not ready to quit yet. I want to play another 4 hands.
For the fans. For the fans.
For the fans. Let's do it. Come on, please.
We can hear the people. Winning. We can hear the distant future like
the future vortex matrix pushing through.
Dude, my son has such good taste in movies. He just watched Back to the Future for the first time.
Nice. I'm sure he loved it.
Yeah, big fan.
Nice. That's a great movie. One of the best.
It is a good movie.
Let's see a flop. That's a 10-6 diamonds. Beautiful flop. That's why you
nailed it.
Sometimes I like peeling or doing something, but
I was like, you're clicking that awfully high.
Yeah, I just can't help it.
Price isn't the worst, but let's maybe go a little less than $7.
Yeah, maybe a little bit less. Once again, a little trappy, flick in the quarter, whatever. Nice. They never see it coming. They never see the ace 3 coming. The issue is it's hard for him to have very much.
Yeah, and that's the problem.
I actually checked there a decent amount as well, but not that time. Wow, my absolute stone favorite hand.
Is there a reason?
To the suit.
Is there a reason? Hey, clubs is my favorite suit too.
Wow, that's awesome. Actually, my favorite hand to the suit is 5 of spades, to be honest. But clubs, people think it's been clubbing for so long now.
You like slow roll.
No, people.
I'm like, we have this connection. You're like,
because you asked me why, and then I was thinking about it, and the reason why was because 5-3 of spades. I won my first 50K pot back in the day. 5-3 of spades against David Benefield's queens on a 10-5-3 board, and I just scooped that one, which was nice. So that was why.
No big deal.
Before that, my first hand I won a 1K pot with was 5-4 of spades. So I have a quite fondness to the 5-3, 5-4 of spades range.
Gotcha. Spades is so cliche though. That's everybody's favorites.
I know.
I just like the clubs. I just think they're cute.
Oh, well, there's that. I could check raise. I think that's the thing we could do here. I actually have I have several friends who love check raising in this spot for value because people call you with worse. But my traditional plan is usually just to call. Let's raise for the fans. A little something different,
Fuck it.
It actually is still fine to raise here because if he has literally any 2 cards above 6, like 7, 8, having that fold here is totally fine. I mean, it's totally fine as far as this is not the greatest. This is why you just call. Anyway, let's check. Start with that. Go from there. I do want hands like 7, 8, and like 9, 10 just to fold and flop is totally fine. I guess, you could check call if you wanted to as well. That would be a perfectly reasonable line and the line that I most normally take. If it was 6-6 deuce, I actually would love to check raise this turn card. If we didn't have a 6, obviously we had a 6, and that would be great. $3, can't fold for $3.
At least he makes your decision easy here.
He does make it easy. We are a little worried that he has us beat, but getting over 5-1, we can definitely call. We beat flush draws. We beat hands that are just like king high. We could try to bluff, but he actually has diamonds sometimes, and we also win here sometimes if he just has like 5-6 or king 6. King 6 we chop with, I guess. Actually, we chop with all 6s, so. We actually chop sometimes. We win rarely, but possibly win sometimes if he has like pocket 5s or pocket 4s, something like that. Interesting sizing. I actually think this is kind of a decision because him betting $3 on turn makes me feel like he probably doesn't have ace jack here. I feel like if he had ace jack, he'd be more likely to bet bigger on turn than he would on the river. He could definitely have diamonds. He could have full houses. Could have ace king, I guess, and feel pretty comfortable there. I'm leaning towards folding here, just because I feel like he can have diamonds. He can definitely have some ace size, and even though I think the bet sizing is a little strange that he picked the sizing he did, I feel like at this level it's hard to exclude him having aces just because of that. He can definitely have diamonds. We're getting not a fantastic price to win here. Pickle char. I don't know what that means word-wise, but I'm going to ignore that for my decision-making process. I also feel like when he's talking makes him maybe a little bit more inclined to have it. But I think I'm going to just fold here. That's why you check call flop, by the way. My damn European friends that like to check raise deuce 6 flops. We literally had a conversation about how it was like deep in it was deep in one of the biggest buy-in tournaments of the summer. I think it was the 25K 6 max event. one of my good friends, Max Silver, who went deep in that event and got third or second or fourth, I believe.
Fourth.
He told me a hand history where he had ace-5 or ace-6 against John Duhamel, and it came deuce-6, or it was like three-handed, and he check-raised with ace-6, and the turn was the card, like a 10, and he bet again. Duhamel raised, and he somehow just like calls, and the river is some other card, and once again he goes like check, call, or something, and the river was like a 7, and Duhamel had like king-7, and somehow just like spiked the slightly better hand or something like that, and it blew my mind when I heard it. And so we happened to have like the same exact spot, and we lost as well. So be careful, kids. Don't listen to crazy Europeans. Making more run up videos, indeed.
You're on
one. You'll find this one out on
the focus.
What day is the day you guys are watching this video? You're watching this
I think
video.
you said September 7th.
September 7th. You guys, that's it. You're famous. September 7th. Let's end it. Let's end it on a positive note.
Sad beans. Anti-bank.
3 of clubs. 3 of clubs would be a
Make
fun
it
one.
interesting.
Make it interesting at least. Check. 3 of clubs. Win the pot.
Yeah,
or just bet spot. Well, it's been fun. We had an extra 10 minutes for the fans. Supersized episode here today. We ended up winning 940 on this session, but we lost overall from our run up to DMOON week. So we ended up. We'll have to try to relaunch.
We had fun though.
We did have fun. We ended up losing $81, which is no big deal. It's like a buy-in and a half. Who cares? You played even bigger than that. We played 50 cents a dollar. It ain't no thing. It just makes the journey last longer. That's awesome. Whatever. It happens. So the current bankroll is looks like it is going to be a little under 874.74. Hey, at least the numbers match. That's cool. So we'll be back tomorrow with some multi-tabling madness. That's right. That's how I'm feeling like we're going to be doing. It'll be just me and you guys. But don't forget to tweet at dmoongirl and say, hey, dmoongirl, we want you to come back. We'll relaunch the shuttle. We'll try to get back to the moon maybe later on in September or October. That would be awesome. We can try another run up to DMOON week. So like I said, tweet at dmoongirl. Let her know that you're happy that she came by. Tell her, what was your favorite episode? What was your
love
favorite
to hear from
moment?
you people.
Yeah, DMOON loves to hear from the fans.
I get lonely on Twitter because I don't have the legion.
That's right. And
I have a small but devoted contingent of people.
For sure. I'm one of them.
But, yeah.
The Legionettes.
Come on. Hit me
I like
up,
that.
people.
Legionettes. There you go. Perfect. We'll see you guys back for more Run It Up tomorrow. Don't forget runup.com for all your Run It Up needs. You can buy shirts and posters and things. runup.com/store. And I will see you guys back for more tomorrow. Peace.
Fly me to the moon, girl. Let me play among the stars in your eyes. Let me see what spring is like on Jupiter.